All right, today we're diving into the tech that makes your music loud, the audio amplifier. And trust me, it's a fascinating story, really a constant battle between raw power and getting that perfect, clean sound. I mean, think about it for a second. How on earth do these tiny little devices, like your phone or a portable speaker, pump out such huge sound? It's pretty amazing, right? Well, the secret is a tiny but mighty piece of tech whose story is all about some really clever engineering trade-offs and breakthroughs. So, what's an amplifier actually doing? Put simply, it grabs a tiny little audio signal, say from your phone, and gives it a massive power boost, enough to physically move a speaker and create sound. But here's the trick. It has to do all that without messing up the original recording. It's this delicate dance between power and precision. So here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at the fundamental problem that every amp designer has to solve. Then we'll get into the first real attempts, the linear amps. After that, we'll jump to the game-changing Class D, see how they made it sound great, and finish up by looking at what defines a top-tier amp today. Okay, let's start with the big one, the central conflict that's been driving amplifier design from the very beginning. It's this constant tug-of-war between making the sound absolutely perfect and not just throwing away tons of energy as heat. You see, the very first amps were kind of like muscle cars with a massive fuel leak. Yeah, they could sound amazing, but they were unbelievably inefficient. A huge chunk of the electricity they pulled from the wall was just wasted, radiated away as heat. They were big, they ran super hot, and they were serious power hogs. And that brings us to the first big family of solutions, the linear amplifiers. Engineers started creating different classes for these amps, and each one was a new attempt to find a better balance between that beautiful sound quality and, not melting. First up, you've got Class A. This is the one for the purists. Its output transistors are basically on all the time, at full tilt, always ready to perfectly reproduce the audio signal. The sound? It's gorgeous, super clean, but the downside is huge. Because it's always on, it's constantly burning power and kicking out heat, even when there's no music playing at all. So to fix that crazy inefficiency, engineers came up with Class B. The idea here is a push-pull design. You've got two transistors. One takes care of the top half of the sound wave, the positive part, and the other one handles the bottom half, the negative. This made things way more efficient. But there was a catch. It created this low glitch, a kind of audible hiccup, right in the middle where the two transistors hand off the signal. They call it crossover distortion. So the logical next step was, you guessed it, a compromise, Class AB. It's the same push-pull idea as Class B, but with a clever tweak. Both transistors are kept on for just a tiny little bit of time, overlapping in the middle. This totally gets rid of that nasty crossover distortion, but you still keep most of the efficiency gains. And because of that, Class AB became the industry gold standard for decades. And this table really just lays it all out, right? You've got Class A with its incredible sound but terrible efficiency, Class B, which is efficient but has that distortion problem, and then there's Class AB, hitting that sweet spot in the middle. It's no wonder it was the king of the hill for so long. But what if you could do even better? The quest for ultimate efficiency led to a totally different way of thinking. It led to Class D. And this wasn't just another small step. It was a full-blown revolution. I mean, just look at this chart. The difference is just staggering. The best linear amps were topping out around 60, maybe 70% efficiency. Class D technology comes along and blows right past 90%. This wasn't just an improvement, it was a game changer. So what's the big secret? It all comes down to how the transistors are used. You see, in a linear amp, the transistor is like a faucet, always adjusting the flow of electricity. But a Class D amp uses it like a light switch. It's either all the way on or all the way off, thousands of times a second. And in those two states, fully on or fully off, they waste almost zero power as heat. Here's basically how it works in 3 steps. First, that smooth analog audio wave gets converted into a series of super fast digital pulses. The width of each pulse actually represents the original sound. Then, those simple on-off pulses get amplified with incredible efficiency. And finally, a special filter smooths everything back out, reconstructing a powerful, perfect copy of the original audio. So why should you care about all this? Well, that efficiency has a direct impact on the gadgets we love. Less wasted heat means you don't need giant, heavy heat sinks. That means our devices can be smaller and lighter. This is the tech that makes powerful sound possible in our phones and Bluetooth speakers, all while giving them way longer battery life. It's a huge deal. Now, of course, being super efficient is only half the story. Early Class D amps, well, they had a reputation for not sounding quite as warm or natural as the old linear designs. So the next big challenge was to take this efficient technology and make it sound truly incredible. A huge part of perfecting them was making them tough and reliable. I mean, switching that much power that quickly can be tricky. So modern Class D amps are loaded with all sorts of smart protection circuits. They're constantly watching for things like overheating or short circuits, making sure the amp stays safe and stable no matter what you throw at it. But what about the sound quality? Well, this is where we look at a measurement called total harmonic distortion, or THD. It basically measures how much gunk and noise the amplifier adds to the music. The fact that high-quality Class D amps today can hit a THD of less than 0.01%, that's just mind-blowing. It means the sound is unbelievably pure and true to the original. So, after all this innovation, where are we today? We've got amps that are incredibly powerful, incredibly efficient, and sound absolutely fantastic. Let's take a look at a real-world example of this tech at its very best. This quote from GM Audio really says it all. They've created their new BA/BD series for the super demanding world of pro audio, where you can't compromise on performance or reliability. This series is built for big places: theaters, auditoriums, live concerts. It uses cutting-edge Class D tech to deliver everything we've been talking about: fantastic energy efficiency, very little heat, and rock-solid, reliable operation. It's really setting a new benchmark for what professional sound can be. When you step back and look at the whole journey, it's really a story about overcoming huge limitations. We went from these hot, heavy, inefficient beasts to these sleek, cool-running powerhouses that can literally fit in the palm of your hand. It's been a pretty incredible ride. The tech that was once all about compromise is now all about efficiency. And that makes you wonder, doesn't it? As our gear gets even smaller, even smarter, what's the next big revolution in sound gonna look like?